I know you want to know how I made Terror of the Troll. So let's go behind the mind. Whenever I'm creating a Survivor game, I tend to focus on four major aspects: the format, twists and themes, challenges, and the idols and advantages. These four key aspects of any Survivor game is what orchestrates me and guides me to create a thing of beauty. By paying attention to these four areas in particular, my games became more organized and professional. My entire thought process on creating a Survivor game had changed in between seasons 3 and 4. I was okay with being a yearly fundraiser, but now I was a full-fledged passion project, and as such, it was a reflection upon my creativity. I felt pressured. I felt like I had to prove myself, now more than ever, and I needed to plan ahead, and so I did, with 5 unique twists and themes, starting first with Terror of the Troll. But the truth is, if I wasn't living with Briar at the time, I don't know if Survivor Durant would have ever continued. You see, I told him that I had this idea about a Survivor game where we just constantly tricked the players and messed with them, and he was like, oh, that sounds a lot like trolling, and Briar's a sucker for trolling, so he was totally down for that, but I expressed to him just how pressured I felt of continuing a Survivor game, and he really encouraged me to just have fun with it and relax. And I did, and we made something that was just comical for us both. First, with the format of the game, Briar and I had a lot of different things planned, and unfortunately, we didn't get to see a lot of it due to the amount of players that came to play. But the biggest thing that we kept in the game that I had planned was for there to be a tribe swap after a challenge was already completed. It's like the biggest troll of all time, you just won a challenge, you're feeling great, you're on cloud 9, everyone's celebrating, and then drop your buffs. What's going on? Sure, it might not have been exactly fair, but with this twist, it wasn't designed to be fair. It was designed to be unpredictable and have the players trust absolutely nothing about the game. And when it came to trolling the contestants, we didn't stop in just the format section. It also bled into the challenges. Whenever you're making a game, it's important to figure out if you're starting bottom up or top down. For us, it was top down. We knew that we wanted to incorporate this troll twist. Therefore, we came up with challenges around the troll twist. So whether it was calling up contestants, making them think that they were going to be chugging something and actually having to eat a hot pepper, or stretching out questions in Netflix and chill, making them think that the full question was being asked, these challenges were designed to best suit the troll twist at the player's dispense and at the amusement of Briar and myself. I will say that this season lacked in mental challenges and puzzles, and of course there were more planned and the season didn't go as long as I had foreseen. But I did want to introduce a ton of new challenges, and for the most part, that's all we had was brand new challenges. Another new twist this season was how the hidden immunity idol was dealt with. It was shackled to the bottom of a shrub and required a key, which was on the immunity statue, Fiddlefoot. I know that there's going to be returning players every time I do a Survivor, so it's important to me to be as unpredictable as possible and to make sure that these returning players don't immediately already have the answer. So I try to switch it up every season, and that includes dealing with the hidden immunity idol. And the hidden immunity idol was not the only advantage at both camps. You see, each camp also had their own double vote advantage hidden, and also a cancel vote advantage hidden. Also at both camps, there was a lockbox, and if you wanted to open it, you had to explore your campground and look for all the numbers throughout, paying close attention, taking notes as to which numbers you've seen. The 3 missing numbers were your answer to unlock the box. My biggest takeaway after hosting my first 3 games was that after an immunity challenge, the winning tribe usually had nothing to do. They just sat and waited, while the losing tribe is scrambling trying to get a game plan together for Tribal. So I wanted to make sure that there was plenty of things to do at both camps. What I didn't anticipate was the Smurf tribe already unlocking their box and finding the hidden immunity idol within the first 15 minutes of the game. So I took note of that and made sure that whatever I do next year, it would be harder and that there would be more things to do at tribes camps. But this is very important. If you're ever going to host a Survivor game, make sure that there's stuff to do and discover at both camps. The final thing that I had planned for this season was I wanted to give a player in the game the option of ending the game in a final 3 or a final 2. But I feel like that's an obvious choice. Wouldn't you want a final 2 to have less competition almost every time? So to spice it up a little bit, I threw in the temptation of also getting to vote out a jury member instead. So it's the ultimate decision. What do you do? Take it to a final 2 or vote out a jury member? I really loved this idea, but it was very complicated for me to come up with a way on how I would be able to introduce it into the game. One thing that I absolutely knew for sure that I did not want to happen with it is I did not want it to be a part of some sort of reward, especially towards the end of the game. The idea of the final immunity winner getting immunity and then also getting this as an additional reward just seemed to tip the balance in my mind. I didn't want it to be a one-off thing at the end of the game. I wanted it to be present throughout the entirety of the game. Because the entire time you are trying to win Survivor from start to finish, you are never not playing. You're playing from the get-go. And in the same way, I wanted this advantage to be present from the get-go, that you are earning whether you know it or not in some way. The pieces require your detective skills to unlock the box and to obtain, just like any other advantage, whether it's a double vote advantage or a hidden immunity idol. But these pieces come with a slight twist. You also have to make sure that you're socially in a good place with everyone and retain a phenomenal social standing so that you might be willed one of the pieces. And if you did, it would pay off big time, because if you had all 3 pieces, you would just instantly gain the power of Pandora's box, doing the impossible. However, if multiple players had different pieces of Pandora's box, then we would go to a challenge. And of course, if no one had a piece, they couldn't enter this challenge. Now, the biggest question on my mind is, what kind of challenge would it be? And I've thought of several different things in order to make it fair, whether it was making a fire, a physical challenge, a mental challenge. But the truth is, no matter what I picked, it would be unfair for someone, because someone would have some sort of natural skill set, whether they were an athlete or naturally great at puzzles, or they just know how to make a fire, over someone else. And I wanted to make sure that at the end of the game, these pieces would be involved in a challenge that gave no sort of advantage. So it came down to dumb luck. And whether you love it or hate it, luck is involved in some major or minor way in every single Survivor winner's path. This would also help to make sure that should a player have multiple pieces in the final challenge, they would get an extra bonus, going from a 33% chance of getting the power up to a 66% chance. It's too bad that Nate didn't sweet talk Matt, because then he would have had all 3 pieces and he wouldn't have had to put up with the challenge. And I know that there was flaws in this design, and I knew that it needed to be polished up before we seen it again. But I did my best with what I had, and I think I did it to the fairest of my ability. As a new host, whenever you come up with something brand new, whether a twist or an advantage, you have to absolutely make sure it's fair and that it benefits everyone equally. You also need to make sure that whatever it is realistic and it's not game breaking. And the final thing is, when it's introduced into the game, you have to sit back and let the players figure out how it's going to be used. Because at the end of the day, this is their game, not yours. You just made it, and you made it for them. So don't ruin it for them by interfering in any way. Well, that covers my thoughts of Terror of the Troll, but it doesn't stop there. You see, by the end of Terror of the Troll, I already knew what I was doing next, and it heavily involved a Greek theme. Thanks so much for listening to my thoughts and going behind the mind.